Good evening, board members, audience and friends, everybody online. Welcome to our June 5th, 2025 board meeting. Can we have call to roll call, please?
Okay, my mic on? Okay. Ms. Boynton?
Here.
Ms. Turner-Birch?
Present.
Mr. Akins? Here. Ms. Macklin?
Here.
Ms. Carter?
Here. Thank you. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Visitors are always welcome at our board meeting. So that the meeting may proceed uninterrupted, please silence all electronic devices. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hope everyone is having a good evening so far. 2.01 is our acknowledgement of our goals. Please read those at your leisure. We're next moving on to 3.01, our Excel presentation, which we are going to have presented by Andy Johnson, our principal of Excel. Yay!
Hi. Good afternoon, good evening, board, Dr. Johnson, members of the community. My name is Andy Johnson. I am the principal of the Excel Academy over at the Bedford, south side of the Bedford High School. And I want to take a few minutes to go over a few things that happened this year, take us back a little bit and show us where we started to where we're at now, because it has been a pretty significant change for us. And so we'll see if we, okay, it is up there. All right, so just for reference sake, the start. So the start for Excel actually was a start for what we called the Compass Academy. That started in the 2016-2017 school year. It was designed originally as a program for maybe more than a handful, but not many more than a handful of upper class students who were credit deficient, needed a different method, a different plan to try and get them to graduate. Our first year, 2016-17, served under 20 students in Excel, in Compass, using a learning platform to try and accelerate them through the last parts of their schooling. And our first year, we graduated 3 students out of a total of, again, less than 20, but significantly credit deficient. We were happy to get 3 done. We thought that was a pretty decent amount for where we started for year 1. So that was a start. And then we had the challenge. And the challenge, in one word, is COVID. As we all know, COVID fundamentally changed what everybody in education was doing. It significantly affected a lot of our students. And so the Compass program wasn't going to be enough. We had a credit deficiency still remained a big problem for students, and even more so after the COVID pandemic. But in addition to that, we started seeing a lot more anxiety, depression, motivational issues. So Compass wasn't big enough at that point. After we saw this, the board, Dr. Johnson had this vision of, okay, what could we do differently? And so we moved into the reimagining of what Compass could be. And so part of that was a different name. We were going to do things a little differently, and so we went into the Excel Academy. Excel Academy, located on the south wing, it became its own school versus a previous model of kind of a school within a school. We are our separate own school. We have our own IRN number, and we have our own dedicated staff. Previously, we had staff members pushing into the Compass program just for a period at a time. Then they had to go out and teach the rest of their school day. Excel became a school, so we had a staff member or a full staff that was working with our students from bell to bell, all the way from the beginning of the day to the end. And by the end of the 2023 school year, our first year as Excel, we went from, again, originally under 20 students, we were at 123 students that we worked with that year. 2024, we bumped that number up to 147 by the time the 2024 school year ended. And then finally, the results. So this year was a pretty big year for Excel. Again, full-time teaching staff, guidance counselor, SEL support. This year, Excel staff, we had almost 200 students from grades 1 through 12. And quite honestly, some fifth-year 12th graders, right? Five-year students who are still trying to graduate and get their diploma. And so where we see the effects of having this program is a couple different ways. One of them is course completions. So we track how many courses students finish with our platform. Started at 276 in the first year of Excel, 353 last year, and this year 437. However, I just looked at the numbers before I came over because grades are due today, last day of in-person or of learning with students. That number is actually closer to 512 right now. So a significant increase in the number of courses finished. And what that ultimately leads us to, which is our goal, is most importantly, the graduates, right? The number of graduates that we have. So you can see in 2023, we Excel graduated 6 students. 2024, we jumped to 7. This past year, 21 students graduated from Excel. In addition, now, with an additional 6 who, by the time summer school is over, we will bring you, I hope, 6 additional graduates for a August ceremony to get, and one of them already finished, right? It was kind of funny, he finished up with his classes just this week, and we were like, oh, you just missed it, and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of known for that. I just missed it by a little bit, right? I kind of waited a little too long. So, but we should, by the end of the year, or by the end of summer school, end up with 27 total graduates out of Excel this year, so a significant increase. And so what we ask, and as a staff and as our team, we start, okay, well, how did that happen, right? So those are the results, and now more importantly, how? Well, like, how do we get those? And we used a different learning platform this year. We brought to the board a different platform we thought would be beneficial. That clearly has helped. There's no doubt about that. Meeting the students where they're at, giving them their own individualized plan, like these are the things you need. You don't have to do all these other things. You got to do these things to get your diploma. That certainly helps. You know, lots of SEL support. We could always use more. Every school could use more. Every kid could use more. But we work closely with those kids. But by far, the most important thing is the relationships. We changed over staff this year. And it was our previous staff, based on just some decisions, they were, the new staff was much better, much more seasoned, and they came in and they made relationships with kids, right? And so they were able to pull kids along and push them forward. And when students didn't think they could get it done, they got it done because they were closely connected with the staff. And that's the biggest thing. You know, there's that saying that, you know, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's what happened this year. And so out of all the different things we tried, the biggest one is the relationships, having that dedicated staff, and it had the results that we'd hoped for. So we've had a successful year. We had our first field trip this year. We took students to a bowling. So we are feeling in year 3 much more like a true school and doing things that our students deserve to do. That is the snapshot of Excel this past year. Again, 21 additional graduates, 6 more on the way. We're pleased with where we're at and where we're going.
Thank you.
Certainly answer any questions if anybody has any.
I just want to say we were really excited to see the 21 walk across the stage at graduation, and to hear that we've got 6 more coming is amazing. And I can't wait to see what you continue to do in the future, because the students can see the why. The teachers are there, and we can see it here. It's showing in the numbers, and so I want to say congratulations, and keeping up the great work on what you're doing over there, because it's definitely making a difference.
Thank you. Yeah, I will tell you that one of our staff members, who has been, again, seasoned, came over and said this has been one of the most rewarding years for him, because what we're working with are a lot of students who have a lot of self-doubt. Like, I didn't know I could get this done. right? I didn't know that I could actually get this diploma. And to see them walk the stage and that emotional response to that, because they just didn't know that they could do it. And so, as we've often said over at Excel, one size doesn't fit all. We have to be able to adapt and modify for different students and different needs, and that's one of the things that we can do best over there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have one question. What does the student-teacher ratio look like?
So this year, let's see, we had a staff of 10 teachers, and so we service about 200 kids, but a little less than 200. But many of those students are working in a virtual setting, so it's not like it's 20, 25 kids in the room, right? Which would be, that could be very challenging. So we've been able to keep staff or keep classrooms that are very reasonable size so that we can get the results that we're having now. So, to get a exact number of in-person to staff, I'd have to go back and kind of do some numbering, but
I was just curious about
Yeah.
it. I apologize, I haven't visited Excel
Yeah.
for years. But I will be coming by to see how it looks or what it looks like. And that was my next question. Do you have a lot of virtual students? And how does that work? Is that virtual for every class, or do they have to come into the building?
So we have students working virtually for any number of reasons. And the students who do work virtually, we have our teachers, that dedicated teaching staff is there throughout the day, and we have Google Meets that are open throughout the day. They're still using our same learning platform that all the other students are using, but they are able to contact the teacher every day, almost, essentially from 7:30 in the morning until 12:15 or so in the afternoon. They have access to a teacher throughout the entire mornings. And so the goal is that they reach out to their teachers. We intentionally put some stop measures in the platform, like a student couldn't just start and just go on their own. There are points that they get stopped automatically by the platform, that they have to reach into the teacher. So we want to make sure that they still have that connection, even if they're not in person every day, that they actually have that connection, that they have to reach out to a teacher. We also have been able to do some creative scheduling with some students who have work commitments and things of that nature, so that they're not here every day of the week, but we want to see you on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You should be in here, work your schedule around that. So again, this alternative platform, this alternative schooling allows us some flexibility with those things. And our goal is to try and have those students have as much contact time with teachers as possible.
Yeah, I was just, because you stress relationships so much,
That's
and I was just
exactly.
wondering
Yep.
how that would work if the student was virtual most of the time.
So we still want them and require that they sign in. Are they always getting in? No, I wish we could get them more frequently probably, but it is, we do put steps in place to try and enforce that automatically.
Mr. Johnson, how many students are face-to-face and how many are registered online?
So we have a small elementary platform. All those students work in a virtual. I mean, it's those students, there's 6 or so elementary students, so very small, that work with, again, but they still have a teacher in the afternoons where they can sign in and get some. And then between our high school and middle school, so we're probably looking at about 60 to about 70 students in person between high school and middle school. And the other students, again, are working in a virtual. Now, there are some of those virtual students, again, who we get pull in each, 1 day a week, 2 days a week, just so they can have some contact. So that's generally the rough ratio.
I just want to
Thank
say, I
you.
think it's a excellent program. Without that program, I don't think my granddaughter would have made it. Many a days I told her I was going to drive the bus up in that room, or you called me and I snuck up in there on her, but without you, I don't think she would have made it at the right time, the year she was supposed to. And I just want to thank you, and I would like you to please continue doing what you're doing, because you're really doing a wonderful
listen,
thing for our students.
The staff really did do all
The
the
staff
work.
too, I want to thank the
Yeah,
staff.
they do all the work, really.
At that time, I don't know who the staff was for her, but whoever it was, I want to thank them and the staff you have now.
Yep.
If you guys can just continue, you don't realize how much it touches a kid that needs it. My granddaughter really needed it, even with me choking her, she still needed it, but,
Exactly.
Disclaimers.
Disclaimers, not really true.
with you calling me and me coming in there and her not knowing I'm coming, it really did, she really got checked and she really appreciated it now. So I just want to thank everybody, and I wish you could keep this continuous for kids like her that needs the special
Yeah,
help.
exactly. I mean, just different things, different approaches for different kids. Not everybody's gonna function in the same environment, so we have to find the right spots.
Yeah, she functional.
So I value the differentiated learning approach. I just wanted to understand, what is the progress monitoring like? I know that Edgenuity kind of does it in its own, and I'm only asking this because there are students who might be on individualized education plans. However, students who may not be identified but may need extra supports, or just may need that extra guidance, in a sense of just watching that the work is getting done. Can you explain a little bit how they're supported in that way?
Yeah, so one of the things our staff did was, from the beginning of the year, took our entire roster of students and divided those out amongst each teacher. Almost, I know at the high school at one point they called them graduation guardians. All of these aren't graduates, they're not seniors only. It could have been all the way down through for the high school staff, they did 9th through 12. So each teacher took a section, and that was their group that they were going to significantly track. Every teacher was tracking in class progress and things like that, and notifying parents. One of the things I would tell you that, and I probably should have been up there, is there was more communication this year from the staff to parents, reaching out to make sure that they knew progress of students than we've had in the past. I mean, our teaching staff was very involved and super aware of making sure parents were aware of if things weren't going right, if things are going well. We did a lot more rewarding of students when, with certificates and things that are lined up all over the wall. And so the staff did a great job of making sure parents were aware of where their kids were at. Inside of there, every group had that one section where they were really tracking that group of students. And so if there were students who weren't quite performing where they needed to, we had multiple meetings. We had lots of, now the platform will offer parents an opportunity to get to the results, and they can see. This one's a little different than what the old Edgenuity used to be. That one sent an email kind of automatically. This one, parents have to opt into basically making an account for their own. So that's a little bit different. I don't know how many of our parents have done that yet. That's one of our big goals for next year, is to make sure that they have access to the accounts and can see stuff right from the beginning. And so, yeah, this new learning platform, it had the results. It was hard on the staff. This was a brand new, but we thought it would have the results that it did. They were willing to put in the time and effort to learn it and understand it, and we saw the results that we were hoping for with this new system.
So it's not Edgenuity?
It's not. It's Edmentum. Yeah, we changed. Edmentum.
I remember. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So we changed to Edmentum this year, and we changed based off of a couple different things. We saw results from other places. I go to at the ESC a meeting 2 or 3 times a year with other people who run programs like this, and a lot of them were having success with this platform. And so we looked into it, and we had some anecdotal evidence from some kids who had worked on it at a different school. They said it was much more engaging, much more. And so we made the decision to try and jump over to it. It was, again, a lot of work for the teachers to create new classes and learn the system, and it was different for sure, but well worth it, I think, when we look back at it and say it did what we were hoping it would do.
Well, I will say I have been over there several times. I love walking through there and engaging with the students as well. And one thing that I do know, last time I was there and I was speaking with students, the students were so excited to show me the hats on the wall of what they had completed. And they were just so proud of that.
Yeah.
And I like that because it gives a visual. And they're not just for me to see, but for themselves to see the progress that they are making. I think I even snapped a picture of it.
So yeah, every class that's completed by a student, we put a little graduation cap up on the wall, And if it's not there the day that they finish, they come and talk to me about it. Like, it's like, where's my cap? I just did one, right? You gotta, so yeah, those visual pieces, components, they can see that, like, this is the steps towards graduation. This is what you're doing. We also, by the way, so the student who just finished, just as another real quick one, he came in, finished his classes. We have a cap and a gown, because he wasn't able to walk, he wasn't there, but we had a cap and a gown and a diploma. Got him all put together, took pictures, put it out there, so he took pictures on his phone to send to his family and stuff, so. And that's always hanging up, that cap and gown is always hanging up in the main office for us. They have to see those things, they have to see, that's what you're working for. So yeah, we absolutely have those things to try and keep them going.
Again, I just want to say kudos to you and your staff on a new program and with the results that
Yeah,
are
we were
put
very
forth.
pleased.
So kudos.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
That's good the first year. Great.
Do you feel like it was the program that has made the huge difference for you? Do you feel like it's, and I know it's the staff that definitely,
Yeah.
because of the relationships that has been built, you said you have now some more seasoned staff in there, but what do you feel has been the biggest?
So I think the program helped, I do. It was, to the students, I think it felt more engaging, I think it felt, so that was a good step. So if I were to give it percentage-wise, that probably made a 10, 20% change. The staff made an 80% change.
Good.
I mean, it's all about relationships. It always has been, it always will be.
Good.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you. Mr. Akins? Yes.
Yes, I wanted to thank you for just providing me a tour of Excel Academy. It was just nice seeing how everything worked out with the classrooms, and as mentioned before, just seeing the items put on the wall to show their accomplishments. Actually, I thought that was a very nice touch, so that the students can actually visually see what they're doing. They can see what they're, kind of compete with each other and say, hey, my cap's not there, but someone else is. I like that visual encouragement to kind of get them to get back into their studies. Also, just when you mentioned relationships, it was nice seeing when we walked down the hall and you were just, you would talk to the students, as they're coming down the hall, just calling them out by name, seeing how you're doing, what's going on. It just seemed like it wasn't like a dictatorish style. It was more like a relationship, a mentor. Just poking my head into various classrooms and seeing how the teachers were working with them. I thought that was a very nice touch. Your staff is amazing.
I'll tell you, our staff, every morning, we're on the top floor of the South House, so the students come in on that same door, they come up the stairs. Our staff, as a group, waits there at the top of the stairs. Every kid gets a greeting when they walk up. Which is what we're here for, right? We're not here if you're not here. So yeah, thanks for coming in. Like that every day they get that. So yeah, I believe they feel welcome there. That they feel
Yes.
at home, and it's very good.
Yes, now I remember there was also a room that you showed me that had different supplies for students, like if they didn't have something, they could get like clothing supplies,
Very
things
done,
that they
yep.
might need personally. I just thought that was nice that you had that available for them to get to.
And that actually, and I think, the high school uses that as well, lots of supplies there, their community room, so there's,
Yes,
yeah,
SEO room.
yeah,
Mhm.
so,
nice job.
thank you.
Yeah, I just also wanted to just personally thank you, because I know when we first, it was definitely a shift from Compass, but you definitely took this on. Also, the changes. When you talk about some of the successes, Andy has done a lot of advocating as well. I value your willingness to kind of share with us what works, what doesn't work, I think, which is very important. We pride on the fact with the team, the fact that, we were saying this earlier in the interview, that we can't continue to move forward if we're not open and honest about what the needs are of our kids, and they need to have advocates at all levels, and leadership is a part of that. We can't surround ourselves with people that just tell us what we want to hear. So I think that was imperative, especially over the past couple of years, because a lot of programs like this in my previous districts, you just kind of get in and out teachers every year. So change, like you said. Like, it was whatever fits in somebody's schedule. And so when you talk about the personalities, when we sit down as staffing, we talk a lot about what the best fits are. And so you, I think because of who you are and the relationships that you've established, you know, within the district, you've been able to really speak to the staff that you've worked with, what you feel would work best with your students and the students that you serve. Even the counselor, Scott, has been great.
Absolutely.
Up there. You know, you even, I think the board as well, because even, you know, you needed a secretary because you started
It's a
getting more.
commitment, and
Because your staff, I mean, you and Trish, you guys were all trying to be the secretaries. You were trying to do everything. But I don't think it will work if you also weren't advocating for kids and you sharing with us, hey, this program isn't working. I think that was huge as well. But I feel like the consistency in him coming to us at that staffing time and talking about what the needs of the kids are and saying, you know, this is the skill set, that's the skill set. And this is a financial commitment.
for sure.
A lot of times, these are some of the things that go, but I hope that the community and you as a board see that this is an investment. And so I feel like it's a well paid off investment. I think you have some staff here, and so I also want to thank you because I know a lot of times they don't know like why they're called to do a certain service, but I want to also say job well done because I know it's not easy. You have some really tough days, but you stuck with it. You're there. You support the consistency. I know your attendance is amazing. I think that's also is huge.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
That you
Yeah,
show
they're-
up for your
they're there.
kids. And so I know it's you have families and there's a lot going on. You're cheering kids on constantly. So I know that's huge.
Yes.
So thank you.
They've been tremendous. I mean, that's the biggest thing, quite honestly. It's been them.
Is your staff here tonight?
We only have a couple.
Some.
Yeah,
Some.
yeah. So today was the last day of
It's the last day. They gotta go.
school.
They're not off like you, retiree.
So they were. I offered them to stay.
I know Trish is
Somehow they
here.
found something
I
better
didn't know
than
who
this. I don't
else
know how.
was here. Well, thank you.
We'll have you come back. We'll have
Yeah,
you come back.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Another.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
so
All
much.
right.
Alrighty, that was a great presentation. All right, next we are on to 3.02. I'm gonna let you
Yep.
introduce them.
Okay,
'Cause
tough,
I'm-
tough to follow, guys. I hope you're ready. So we have with us Mike Priscilla from Satsina and Associates and Austin McGow from Piper and Sandler. And before they start speaking, I just want to say that they're going to talk about the bond issuance, and I could not be happier with the two gentlemen that helped us do this. They were very committed to this project, went in full steam right when I got here. I know Tad is very happy because we got we're on track. We did not get delayed because of financing, so these guys, great job, and I'll let you present now.
And all I ask is make sure you're near the microphone, because we are streaming online, so we want to make sure everybody's able to hear you. Thank you.
I'm going to stand distant from it, from what my wife tells me every night. I think everyone's going to be able to hear my voice. So I wanted to extend an apology to the board and administrators for the last meeting that I missed. I do apologize for that. It was a mix-up on my behalf. I had the wrong time out in Walton Hills. Austin was kind enough to cover for me. We were both supposed to be there. So again, I do apologize, but we do appreciate the time giving us tonight to explain some of the ins and outs of the bond issue. Taylor said we have an hour to talk. Is that all right? So,
That clock up there.
Right here.
We got the timer.
so we won't be long, I promise. What I wanted to do is just briefly explain the roles of the transaction that both Austin and I represented, and then just give you a quick summary. Austin will be able to talk to a little bit about how the pricing went. But in essence, as the advisor of the transaction, I oversee the overall structuring, credit profile, basically putting everything together. And I can only do that with Austin because he provides me the data with which to kind of act as the architect of the transaction. So as everyone knows, we had a little bit of difficulty with the audits, and that their delay caused us to really kind of examine an alternative route to the structure. Generally, in our world, when we do these bond issues, they're always assigned a credit letter for your rating. And because we did not have the information provided through the audits for the rating agencies, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, I'm certain those names you've heard in business narrative, we had to forego getting those ratings and go directly to get the transaction insured. And normally in my world, I try to stay away from that as best I can, especially if I think there's a credit-worthy issuer or borrower like Bedford Schools there. But Austin's world dictates what my world can do. So when I bring that information to Austin, his folks and his desk tell me, you're not going to be able to do it this way. This is the way we're going to be able to try to do it. Can you give us something like this? So we did go to New York, as I had summarized in our last meeting, and did discuss with them to two different insurance agents that are going to insure the bond issue. And what we are trying to do there is basically show them the quality of the credit, the financial footprint of the district in order to achieve the best premium for the transaction. And without a doubt, Tad and Taylor knew their stuff. We had them prepped, which really didn't take much because, especially Tad, he wanted to get these buildings built. So what we did was able to go out to New York and discuss these options with the insurers. The one bid came in at 65 basis points plus $80,000, which was high. We worked aggressively with one of our preferred vendors. They came in at 45 basis points, basically 0.45% of the principal and interest of the issue. But what we call those are basis points from 65 to 45 or 20 basis points. That 20 basis points saved $1 million for the transaction. So that was large in part to their knowledge and how they presented the efficacy of the oversight for your balance sheet. I'm going to let Austin talk a little bit about the procedure of the day itself when we price the issue, but I could tell you as kind of the overseer of that, Piper did a phenomenal job. It was a difficult situation, and I don't know if there's any kind of rivalry, but I got to tell you, we kicked Cleveland Schools' butts with the transaction. So I'm very, very proud of that. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. I'll try to be brief with my description here. So on the pricing day, that's when we actually enter into the market and we sell the bonds to the investors. And so the investors that we're talking about are mainly institutional investors. They're going to be banks, insurance companies, money managers, big bond funds that buy municipal bonds. Very seldom in Ohio, because people disagree with this, but a lower tax state compared to like California and New York, we don't have a lot of retail participation. We don't have a lot of moms and pops buying these bonds. So on the day of the pricing, or leading up to the pricing, actually starts about a week or so out. We print what's called a preliminary official statement, which is a document or an offering document that describes the security for the bond issue issue itself, the project that Tad's overseeing, the finances and operations of the district. It's actually, most people would say it's a really boring document to read, but going through the process, a lot of treasurers, business managers, board members that take a look at it, they really learn a lot about their districts and they actually really enjoy going through and putting something like that together. It's a really comprehensive document about the district. So we disseminate that out into the investing public a week in advance of the pricing dates, and we allow the investors to take a look at that. And sometimes, like here, the investors came back to us and asked some questions about the audits and the rationale, as Michael just described, and not going for an underlying rating, and we just answered those questions. So we arrive actually probably a day before our pricing dates. Michael and I are in constant contact with our trading desk in New York City, and we're coming up with what we call the scale for the issue, where we think the yields for each of the maturities, years 1 through 34 in your case, we'll talk about that in a second, was originally supposed to be 1 through 36, where those yields we think they're going to land. And Michael pushes us as hard as he can to say, well, I think at that level, that maturity, you can be a little tighter with your spreads and have a lower yield. And then on the pricing date, we go into the market with those, on the consensus of those yields, and we receive orders from the investors. So the investors are submitting orders to our trader in New York City. And what I can say as a result of that process, your bonds were very well received by the investing public. And one of the ways that we measure that is by the number of orders that we receive in relationship to available bonds. We call those subscriptions. And in your case, you are oversubscribed 3.3 times, which is right in the wheelhouse where we want to be. We don't want that number too low because that means we haven't sold your issue. At the same time, we don't want that number too high, like 10 times oversubscribed, because that means we went out too cheap with our yields into the marketplace. And in that case, investors are going to be all over the issue wanting to get their hands on it. So 3.3 times is right in the wheelhouse, as Michael would tell you, right where we want to be. And in addition to hitting that mark, after the pricing period, our trader came back and was able to ratchet down the yields on certain maturities, a couple, 1 to 4 basis points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but was able to tighten those yields a little bit to get you an even better deal from the pricing. All told, people always ask, what was the interest rate for the issue? The interest rate was 5.22%. We call that the true interest cost, which I think is a really solid interest rate in the current market. Ever since Liberation Day, so-called Liberation Day in early April and April 2nd, we've had a very finicky market, a lot of volatility in the market. So we're very fortunate to get the issue done and also get the issue done at the level that we got it done at.
One thing I stressed, and probably to much of the dissent of Austin and his folks, because it's a very poignant portion of the structure of the issue, is your prepayment option. This particular option not only allows you to prepay on the debt if you do have extra money, it gives you the option to refinance the debt. And given in this market, most underwriting desks want to stretch that date as far in the future as possible, 10 years. Normally at Cecina & Associates, we push for 5 years, cutting it in half. As Austin had indicated, this market is quite volatile, but we were able to achieve a true 7-year, what we call optional redemption. That means in 7 years, you will have the ability to refinance this issue. So we made certain that we structured it in a manner that hopefully prior to that, we won't get into the specificities of the types of securities that can use to be refinanced, but the shorter that time is from close to that date in 7 years, the better or more efficient the economics of a restructuring or refinancing become. So we are we put a lot of emphasis on that. We wanted to make certain, not only for the sake of making certain the bonds sold, but we want, if the markets move in our favor, we want to make certain the Bedford taxpayers receive the benefit for that, and we can refinance and lower that debt service. And as is, we were able to cut 2 years off this issue, and that's not small potatoes. For an issue this size of $160 million, that's big, and that was all because of the massive jump in your taxable value, your assessed value within the district, gave us that flexibility, and that saved us a lot of money on the insurance. So yeah, no doubt. So all in all, I must say, very proud to have been a part of this transaction. I want to extend my sincere thanks on behalf of Austin as well to have allowed us to work on this with you. We made some pretty great relationships with Tad and Taylor, with the board and administrators. We were also involved with some of your neighbors' recent capital plans. So when we drive through this area, much in the same manner, to see those graduation caps on the wall, we like seeing dirt move, and we're going to be really happy when all this is built, because I think we have a lot of, I'm very fulfilled having been able to work in this area, so thank you very much for allowing us to work on this transaction.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Anybody? We will be providing what we call a post-pricing book. We close on the 10th.
Tuesday.
That's when you're gonna get your money, Ted. You're gonna get your money. And then I will send that pricing book that Austin and I put together, and that will give you everything about which we just spoke in a very concise summary level. And Ted, or Taylor, if you want to share that with the board, you'll have that.
Yes, I'll distribute that as soon as I receive it.
And if anyone has any questions in the meantime, Taylor and Ted have our contact information. Anytime you would like us to come back, we would welcome the opportunity to come out here and speak to you. All right? Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Anybody have anything? No? All right, thank
I
you.
just want to say thank you for a very informative report. Some of the things
all
I
the hard
did not, maybe not understand, but I'm glad that we have people on staff.
I was getting ready to say
So
the same
thank
thing.
you, Ted, and thank you, Taylor, for keeping them under guard.
I
And
really
for
do.
everything that you've done.
I do want to emphasize that because it makes our job easier. A lot of times when you come in and you have someone who either wants to say they think they know more than they do, or sometimes you get someone who just doesn't want to be engaged. We don't want that. These gentlemen knew exactly what we were capable of doing. They let us do it, but the whole time we provided them with all the information with which to make the informed decision. And that's exactly how it should work.
Thank you. And thank you for your clarity. You know, it was, this one-on-one for me, so, for dummies, so you did a
No,
good job.
certainly. And anytime you have any questions on this, anytime, we have a lot of material and resources we can provide you. If you want to disseminate it amongst people in the community, or for that matter, have us talk to them, anytime.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you both, especially Tad and Taylor, for shaving those 2 years off.
Totally.
Because as taxpayers, that's huge.
It's huge. It's big.
So thank you very much for doing that.
It's not as easy to be done because when you do that, you condense the repayment schedule and it puts pressure on this terrible word I know everyone hears out here, millage. So, but we had enough flexibility to take those 2 years off. And I will tell you this, if the opportunity comes soon for the refinancing, if we were to utilize those 2 extra years, we have that option, because then you can start saving some significant money now, because you don't have those years on your duplicate now. So we do have the legal opportunity to refinance into those years, which could really help if the situation requires it. But we won't touch them unless we have to. All right?
Appreciate all the hard work, thank you. And like she said, there's some things I'll just be sitting with them in a meeting saying, explain to me again?
You got it. Yeah, no, it's a complex set of parameters, and we do our best to try to bring it down to the layman's perspective. And even for us, sometimes we have to ask each other, hey, double check my work, double check this work, and we work really well as a team. And these guys made it really easy for us.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Taylor, for definitely bringing them on to assist you.
Yes,
'Cause
it was easy decision.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see
Thank you.
everybody.
Have a good one. All righty. All right, moving on, we're going to move to approval of minutes. We've got 4.01 minutes for May 1st, 2025 work session. And then we have our minutes from May 15th, 2025 consent agenda. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve. Oh, go on. I'll let you.
Well, I think it already came out.
I want you to.
All
I
right.
want you to.
All right, motion to approve the minutes for May 1, 2025 Board of Education work session.
Second?
It has been motioned by Mr. Akins and second by Mrs. Boynton that we approve the minutes from May 1st, 2025 work session. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes. Passes 5-0. Thank you, board. Now on to minutes for May 15th, 2025. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
It has been motioned by Mrs. Turner Birch and seconded by Mrs. Macklin that we approve the minutes for May 15th, 2025 Bedford Board of Education consent agenda. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Yes, Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes, passes 5-0. Thank you, board. We are now on to section 5, our consent agenda. Can I have a motion for our consent agenda as presented?
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It has been motioned by Mrs. Boynton, second by Mr. Akins, that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Do we have any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes, passes 5-0. Thank you, board. We are now on to our superintendent's report. I will now pass it over to Dr. Johnson.
Good evening, Board President, Vice President, and Board members. This evening, I have 6 recommendations. I apologize, I don't have my glasses, but under 6.01, we ask of your approval of the following administrative personnel. Under 6.02, we ask of, thank you. I don't know if that's strong enough.
I doubt it.
Ooh, yes, no. Under 6.02, ask of your approval of the following non-administrative personnel. Under 6.03, we ask of your approval of the following overnight athletic trip. Under 6.04, we ask of your approval of the following contract.
Service contract.
Under 6.05, we ask of your approval of the following facility improvement contract. Under 6.06, we ask of your approval of the following service contracts.
Thank you. Starting with 6.01, well, let me ask you this. Do you want to do this as a consent, or do we want to do these separately?
Consent is fine with me.
It's good with me.
Everyone's good with
Me taking them all as a
taking them
whole.
all as a whole, as a consent altogether, or do we want to do separately? Everybody's good with whole? All righty. Can I have a motion to approve the superintendent's report as a whole?
Motion to approve items number, superintendent's report 6.01, administrative personnel, 6.02, non-administrative personnel, 6.03, overnight athletics trip, 6.04, service contract made by presented by the Executive Director of Academic Achievement, 6.05, service contract presented by the Executive Director of Facility Improvements and Special Projects. At the last one?
And 6.06.
One more? Oh,
6.06.
I gotta get to 6. Oh, and 6.06, service contract presented by the Executive Director of Human Resources.
Second.
It has been motioned by Mrs. Boynton and seconded by Mrs. Macklin that we approve 6.01 through 6.06 of the superintendent's report. Do we have any questions? Comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes. Thank you, board. Passes 5-0. And I just want to say congratulations to the student that will be going to state qualified track meet in Columbus on tomorrow, actually. So, woo-hoo.
Excel?
I also would like to.
Excel student.
Woo-hoo, and an Excel student. Yay, we like to hear that.
And,
Yes.
Also, Mr. G is here. I don't know if you want to say anything, but I know you've been in the
you.
district a very long time, and you have
So excited
made that
for you.
request to make that transition. And
Yay.
So I just, Board, Dr. Johnson, I'm very appreciative of where I've been in the district and those opportunities provided. It was an honor to serve as the principal at Carrollwood, and I'm excited about the next steps at Heskett as well. And I'm, very committed to inspiring our scholars every single day to achieve excellence set forth. So I do appreciate the opportunity. I can't wait to get into the building, get acquainted, and get to work. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to continuing to move forward and to grow here in Bedford as I look to begin my 20th year in the district. So,
Wow.
yep,
Congratulations.
I appreciate it and look forward to what the future holds. So, thank you.
I have to
Congratulations.
say, congratulations. I have watched your administrative journey, like literally. And I think this is the sweet spot for you.
It's the right spot.
I really think this is a sweet spot for you.
I appreciate
You
that.
have been at the high school, you were at the elementary school first, and then the high school was like the thing for you. But I really think this middle spot is good for you, and the reason being, you've always talked about being a transition person. And we've always kind of said that middle has been left out at times. And I just really feel that you have a heart and a compassion for that formative age group. And I really think you will have success there. So I'm wishing you the best wishes of everything in that building. And I also feel, I think Antonio will still be there, correct? Am I correct? So I didn't want to mistake myself, but I think that you two would make a good team too. I think that would be a solid team there in that building, so,
Absolutely.
just from what I can see.
I appreciate that vote of confidence. And again, I do appreciate the opportunities and the belief, the trust, all of that matters. The relationships that Mr. Johnson talked about earlier, bringing those things to life and making sure our scholars know that people care about them. And I think that this is the right spot, the right fit. And again, I do want to thank Dr. Johnson for that vote of confidence as well, because transitioning to Carrollwood, that conversation was nurtured and that growth for my own mindset happened based on a lot of the trust of the people that are here in this room and in our district. So love Bedford, I'm committed, and I'm glad to continue to grow. That's what it's about. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Alrighty. We are now moving on to our treasurer's report, 7.01. I'm going to turn it over to Taylor.
Okay, good evening, Board President, Vice President, Board members.
Good evening.
Tonight, I have one item, and it's surprisingly good news. It's a gift and donation, so.
We always like good news.
Yeah, 7.01 gifts and donation. We have a tools and trade $5,000 donation for the Auto Tech program.
Nice. Woo-hoo. Alrighty, can we have a motion for our gifts and donations?
Motion,
Go ahead.
motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been motioned by Mr. Akins and second by Mrs. Turner Birch that we approve the gifts and donations from Tools of the Trade for $5,000 for our Auto Tech program. Woo-hoo. Any questions about it, comments?
Thank you.
Right. All right, roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Akins?
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch?
Yes.
Ms. Boynton?
Yes.
Ms. Macklin?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes, thank you, board. Passes 5-0.
Okay.
It's there, he can see it, but he couldn't get to it, so I just want you guys to have heads up, so I hope it's okay.
Where is it? So there is, it's not on here, but there is a request for the Juneteenth event that will take place at the high school, correct? On Juneteenth, 19th. And so I know that the form is not here, but I know that, we just want to make sure everybody knows about it, because I know it's not here, so we can't.
It was submitted.
See the form
Turn your microphone.
for
Yeah.
some reason, but,
He just couldn't
I'm
upload.
sorry,
it.
yeah, he can see it, but because it's not over on his side, he said,
Okay.
I just messaged him. So I just want you guys to know that, because I know the board has to approve, all access to the facilities. So I hope that's okay.
So it looks like,
So the facilities request was submitted
It was,
in a
yes.
timely
Submitted in a
fashion.
timely
It's supposed
fashion.
to be here.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it
but he
can't.
can't, he can't get it over to his side, because not
I was trying to keep this
athletics.
yeah, so it's not on here, but we know that, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And it was handed in on time.
So Taylor, how do we move
We
it?
That's what I'm getting ready to ask. So how would we,
We can have it this board approved on the 26th meeting after the
Okay.
fact, as long as the board is okay with this.
Okay,
that sounds good to me. Okay.
yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, I'll let him know.
Appreciate it. All right, got the clarification on that. Okay. We are now moving on to,
Thank you.
our, 8.01, which is our BEA negotiation agreement. may I have a motion? This is regarding the approval of resolution and tentative agreement between the City of Bedford City School Board of Education and the Bedford Education Association.
Motion to accept the agreement as presented.
Second.
It has been motioned by Mrs. Boynton and second by Mrs. Turner Birch that we accept the agreement as presented. Do we have any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes. Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes. Thank you, Board. Passes 5-0.
Could I just say something? Thank you for all the hard work, Dr. Johnson and our bargaining unit on this particular agreement. I know that it takes a lot of time, a lot of conversation, and a lot of compromises. So I appreciate it, and thank you guys for bringing it to the board.
Yeah, I just also wanted to say thanks, especially to BEA at a very, this is a crazy, crazy time, where we knew financially we did not, have the finances. And when it's just a crazy time in public education in general, I know we have a lot of work to do as a leadership team to continue to work on the trust of your membership as well as with OPSI in these very difficult times. Tricia and I talked about that earlier today, so I just definitely want to thank you and your membership.
Thank you. Sure.
I'd like to thank Dr. Johnson and the board and our team, and our teachers who came out today. We're committed to working with both the administration and OPSI. We know this is very trying times right now for public education, especially funding. And so we're committed to working through that and helping to build that trust as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's almost like you read my notes on my phone. I just showed it to her. You read my notes on my phone.
Great minds think alike.
Thank you.
So appreciative. Thank you so much. All right, we're on to 8.02, our first reading of revised board policies. May I have a motion? I'm sorry, I forgot there's not a motion. I forgot there's not a motion, but do we have any conversation about the first reading of these board policies?
So I do.
Thank you for correcting me.
We did meet, and discussed, many of these. I did have a couple notes that I did want to bring to thought. 5113, can we pull that one up? And I just have a question on the last paragraph.
Dr. Threet, this might be a question for you. It's
about open
inter-district
enrollment.
Open enrollment.
I think we had a quick conversation about this one, but then something else came up later when I was going back to review. Now I can't pull it up so I can see it for myself. Hold on.
Here.
You pulled 5113 up?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Those are not glasses.
Oh,
Those are not real glasses. Those are shades.
I have in my notes here,
Those are just readers or something.
last paragraph.
See, those are not glasses. Those are not strong at all.
So I understand, so I was
Get it.
wondering.
Her eyes are like
You
mine.
see where we at? No,
okay.
So it is, my notes say the last paragraph. So I'm looking at, is that another, yes, it's this one.
I was gonna say, did you wanna go?
I want to know, why is it, additionally, that's the part. Why is it stricken? Is this part stated that, is this what the law is saying we need to strike out? Or, is this what the option said that we had to strike out?
Okay.
Things that are stricken out, I believe stricken is the right word, is what Neola recommended, which is the law.
Okay. And then I had one other question. Give me a moment.
If you read that policy, and just for everyone that's not looking at it right now, it's involving the DEI, and you know those new rules that we have to abide by with DEI.
Okay.
Also in the summary that you'll get, that you got regarding the policies, it'll tell you, give you descriptions of about the changes in each policy.
Oh,
And that's at the beginning of each of the policies that need to be changed. I do remember that from our meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Such big help for you, weren't they?
thank you for that clarification. Was there any other questions regarding any other of the policies?
yep, I had one more. It was 5120. Let me go back to that.
That is the, assignment within district.
Yes. My question was, why was annually stricken instead of, and periodically mentioned instead of us, like, what does periodically actually mean?
The superintendent shall periodically review existing attendance areas.
Because I would think it would be annually, but periodically seems like we could just, in the middle of the year, we can decide or review or.
I'm assuming that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's, yeah.
Cause it's not just annually.
Right. So it's gonna be on a.
Okay, so it's on a
Yeah, it's gonna be on a
constant
consistent
basis.
basis.
Okay, okay.
And again, that was taken out, so it must be something that needs, in the law. I'm sure that. It makes sense not to have it
Yeah, we don't
annually,
just do
but
it
whenever.
And then my other question, because in another policy, I can't think of which one it was. I think it had to do with the bathrooms, non-discrimination and all that. In this specific policy, it says no assignment to schools or attendance schedules shall discriminate against students on the basis of color, race, color, national origin, sex, disability, religion, or ancestry, gender, race, religion, disability, or national.
7421?
Yeah, I'm still in the same one. No, I'm still in 5120.
Oh, you're saying the language in 741 is different than the language in.
Uh-huh.
those
So
two.
this one, we don't strike anything, which I don't think we should. That's not the point of me bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because then I think the other one, I think that's the one that you mentioned, it is stricken. So how can we have policies that strikes out, we're not gonna discriminate against basis of race, color, religion, origin, but in other policies, we don't strike it?
So it looks like you said, okay.
And once again, why do we have, this is convoluted, because on the state side, we should be able to still keep it.
Please be patient with us as we take a look through this. One moment.
I mean, it's a work session, this is exactly what we're supposed to discuss.
No, but I'm just
Oh.
asking them to be patient with us while we're taking a look at it, that's all.
It's written twice.
It was written twice.
twice.
Okay.
It's in the parentheses.
It's
Oh,
already
because it
there.
says race at the top and
Yes.
then, okay, okay.
Yes.
I don't know why they repeated
Did you
it.
want my glasses?
No,
They
I
don't
can
work.
see, I'm only bringing it up because
They
once,
don't work.
in the other policy, race, all of that is stricken, period. But in this policy, it's not. So,
So you said in 5113, it's stricken?
I think it's the bathroom, whatever the bathroom one is.
So the bathroom is the 7421.
Everything's running together at this point.
7421.
That one,
Oh,
slow
no,
down.
that's the other one, the
It's towards the bottom.
interdistrict you talking about, or?
No, it wasn't interdistrict. Or maybe it's not the bathroom one.
Cause this is the restroom bathroom.
Okay,
Yeah.
then no, it's not that one. Okay, I won't take any more time on that portion. I was just making a point of the fact that
If we're gonna use it in one, it should
It
it's,
should be
it's
consistent.
inconsistent.
right.
But we should have it. It should say that we should
Yeah.
not discriminate against, because that's what it should be. I want it to read that way. But if it reads one way and that one, it should read that way.
Did we review that one?
Pardon?
The one that you're talking about, you did?
Yes,
saw
it's in here. 'cause
Did
I
we
know I
review
just
it
read
though?
it. No, it was one that we had left off.
All right.
So I would just ask everybody
Yeah,
to
if you
just
can let us know.
go
which-
back through.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can
Yeah.
you,
Just go back through. And, I know this is the first read, but I just wanted to point attention to that. And then the last policy that I had a question on is 7440. Well, I don't have question, I have issue.
Video surveillance.
Yes. And it's going towards where it says we are allowing security to wear body cams. That one. Security staff and administrators are authorized to carry and use portable video cameras when responding to incidents. The board authorized security personnel to use body-worn video cameras while on duty, but prohibits them from being operated while the individual is routinely patrolling restrooms and locker rooms unless the staff member is responding to a specific incident. That's what's checked, and I would disagree with any of that. Once again, we're going back to the whole policing idea of our students.
Use portable video cameras,
Right,
not
that's,
body cams, portable video cameras when responding to incidents.
isn't that what about it?
The board authorizes security
body
persons
is the
to
one
use
that's-
body worn cameras. So, yeah, just basically, we would just need to make sure Beth, you know what I'm saying, we need to tell Beth
Tell her what.
to take off whatever you guys are comfortable with.
Okay, yeah, I don't believe that we should be policing students in the form of having our security or administrators being able to wear body cameras
I don't wanna wear body cameras.
in our, in our buildings.
I don't think they wanna wear body cameras.
Whether they want to or not, if we have a
But if you
policy
said
on
it, then
record,
yeah.
what it does is it allows the space of that. And it shows that this is what we stand for, because it says the board authorizes. And I would like that the board not authorize such use,
Okay.
is what I would like. for
We
us
couldn't afford it
to
anyway.
agree
She
couldn't
said we
afford
can't
it
afford
anymore,
that.
did we?
That's-
We couldn't afford it anymore.
on. So then we can take that on off. Uncheck that X.
The treasurer said no body cams,
We're not wearing no body cams. We do not authorize
nor the lawsuit.
security to do
Right.
such. We are not the law.
I know, it's
all right.
So Beth will do that, okay, all right, thank you, and that's all I had.
something out to the board to see, so we can see the correction before the second read?
Yes.
Thank you.
And if, also with that, just a note to those three specifically, because I brought them up. Thank you. And those were three we didn't make it to in the meeting, so. Thank you for your time and patience and grace.
Before we move on, I was gonna say, I know we had quite a few, approvals of some personnel. Do we have any new personnel here today that was approved? No? Okay, I just didn't know if we needed to.
I think I am on the list.
What's your name, hon?
Skylar Callison.
Think I remember seeing your name.
Yeah, occupational therapist.
Yes.
So standing.
Can you please stand and introduce yourself, and so we know who you are? He was like, I think I was on there.
Hello, so I'm Skylar Pallison. I just graduated from Cleveland State University with my doctorate in occupational therapy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Huge.
And I'm just really excited to be serving the students, and I'm really excited to start the school year with you guys. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Alumni. CSU.
Thank you. That is huge. Huge. Alrighty, so before we move into our executive session, is there anything that anyone has to say? I just want to say again, congratulations to our graduates. The weather did not, it held up as much as it could. We saw caps flowing before the time they were supposed to be thrown because the wind was blowing, but I do want to say congratulations. We had such a huge turnout this year, so many students that walked that stage, and again, kudos to Excel for 21 students walking. You can always tell when it was them because they were jumping and flipping and crying and everything else. So I am so excited for our students and just to continue to push through every year and keep going and just to keep excelling. I am so excited for our students. I don't think there was anything.
Yeah, it's a lot this month.
A lot going
June
on.
is a great celebratory month. It's graduation month, it's Pride Month, it's Black Music Month, it's Black Child Month, it's Freedom Month, it's Men's Mental Health Month, it's Safety Month, and that's a disclaimer out for Safety Town. It's supposed to start next week, I believe. And it's the Great Outdoors Month. Since we've been in a rainy season, it's been kind of cold, and now the weather is breaking. Get outside, school is out, get outside. But even more so, turning focus again back to it being Freedom Month. Juneteenth celebration is on June 19th. We are celebrating as a district, as a community, in collaboration with our 4 municipalities. Celebrating it through our race this year. Second year for the race. It will be held from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. We have, please come on out. Registration is out. The flyer has been going out in social media, through your email boxes, wherever you may follow. We have collaborated with Fleet Feet Cleveland as well as Brooks Running Shoes. So right now there is a raffle. If you sign up before the price increase next Friday, price is going up. You will be entered into a raffle to potentially win a free pair of running shoes. How about that? That's awesome. Valued up to $160 only. So,
My favorite shoes, Brooks.
Brooks are the best shoes.
They are the best.
They are. Those are my favorite, hands down. And that's not just because of shameless plug at all. But they have a great stability shoe. But anyways, please come on out. It is a great time. It's called the Freedom 5K Run. It's also a 1 mile option. And just so you know, because it seems like 5K deters people, 5K does not mean 5 miles. It is 3.1 miles only. You can get it done. You can do it. You can walk. You can wobble. You can crawl if necessary. You have those hours to get it done. Last year, so many people came out. Up to 75 people came out and participated. It was so much fun. Many people walked. Some ran. And we were done by like 10:30. So it's a nice route. It was hot that day. Ms. Boynton was one of the last fluid stations, and she was high energy, and it was perfect because you had just come up a hill, so it was much needed water at that area. But please come out and join us. We have music, we have vendors that will be there, so just come out and support. And if you don't want to run or walk, come volunteer. We have plenty of stuff to hand out, from snacks to medals at the end of the finish line, or just be there to help cheer on those who are participating in the community. So, thank you very much, and I hope to see you all on June 19th.
All righty. Anyone else?
I do. I want to mention yesterday, if you were not there, and yes, I have all this high energy, it was our groundbreaking for our K-2 building in Bedford High. So, yes, it was a great occasion. We're so blessed to have groundbreaking for our second school in less than a month. And I think we're actually starting, I think the date was June 9th. So excited, so glad if you came out. If you did, you'll be able to see it real soon on our website. But anyway, it was so exciting to be there. And also the graduation too for 8th grade promotion.
Yes.
Whew, it was a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people there, but I'm just so glad that personally, it's a personal note, that I'm able to attend things now.
Don't brag.
Now that I am officially retired from education, so it's been a great week to be a part of the different activities and events that are happening in our school district, so.
Before we close, I just wanted to also thank kudos to all the graduates of this year. It was just great seeing them at graduation, and including my personal favorite, the smallest Bearcats, the youngest Bearcats. Seeing them in their caps and gowns was just amazing, as it always is. Also wanted to say kudos to the student speakers at the graduation.
Very inspiring.
I can see why they were chosen, because they spoke very well. It was very encouraging, and even encouraging to me just listening to it. So I just wanted to say kudos to them. And for our staff that are able to take a break a little bit for the summer, congratulations for making it through another school year.
That's right.
I know it was hard. I know it had times where you probably thought, man, do I really want to go back to school the next day? But I'm glad you continued on. And for those that are doing summer school, thank you for helping our students fill in the gap that they may have had during the school year, so they can continue on in the fall. So just thank you for that as well.
And we had some birthdays right up here. May 17th on my right, and then just the other day, June 1st.
Yep, and I was just about to say, and
Oh,
we have,
you were?
yeah, we have cupcakes, actually. So, yeah, we got out of here too fast last time, so we didn't get to celebrate yours, and then yours came, and then your retirement, so we do have cupcakes back here.
A lot of
for you.
celebration.
So,
All right,
yep,
cool.
a lot of celebrations, so happy birthday and congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you. Happy birthday, folks.
Thank you. Happy birthday. All righty, and happy retirement. Oh, thank you. I still got some time, so I'm sorry, I gotta hate a little bit. All right, so we are now moving on to 9.01. Can I have a motion?
The motion to enter into executive session to discuss the purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of any real, personal, or other property interest, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee.
Second.
It has been motioned by Mrs. Boynton and second by Mrs. Macklin. Roll call?
Yes. Ms. Boynton?
Yes.
Ms. Macklin?
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch?
Yes.
Mr. Akins?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes, thank you, board. Just so the public knows, we will not be voting on anything as we come out, so we will not be returning once we come out of executive session. So everyone, please have a great evening, be safe, and the storm is supposed to come, so stay out the rain.
Please, could you mention the next board meeting is
Yes.
not the third
It's,
Thursday?
yes, we have moved our next board meeting. It will not be on the 18th as
26.
last stated, but it will be on June 26th. So not the 18th, but June 20, well, I'm sorry.
18th. It was-
No, it was actually the 18th.
Right, it was
It
the
was supposed to be the
18th.
18th because June 19th is the
Because
event.
of
So it's supposed to be the 18th. It's no longer the 18th. It is the following week on the 26th.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you for that reminder.